Hello and welcome to Effin Fridays with Francine. This week you have Francine and Francine. I am my own guest this week. I am 6 weeks post-op knee replacement surgery, coming here from my lovely sofa as I continue to rest and recoup. I have done some work trying to ease back in. And I wanted to share a little bit of the journey of this post-op, um, and how I'm showing up is shifting a little bit. I talk a lot about the addiction to busyness that we have, mostly as women. I'm not saying men don't have it because I think they do, but I primarily work with women. So I'm really familiar with the women I work with. Whether they're business owners or women in corporate, and especially if they have families, everyone else comes first. And then they have to catch up to do their stuff, right? What they need, what supports them. I recently had someone ask me what my why was. And there's a few of them, but one of the things is that I really love to support women that support everyone else. And the reason for that is because I know what it's like to put everyone else first. I've been there. Some days I still am. And it can be really hard to say no. And often that comes with shame and guilt and these stories that we tell ourselves that it's our responsibility to take care of everyone. It's our job to take care of everyone. And we can't ask for help. And oftentimes I will ask the question to women that I encounter or clients, is it easy for you to receive? And I don't want to say 100%, but there's nobody off the top of my head that I recall that has said, yeah, I can receive. Absolutely. Most women say no, they can't receive. They can't even ask for help. And if help is offered, often they have a hard time even accepting it. And then I say to them, are you a person who likes to help others? And they say, yes. Oh my gosh, yes, I love that. And I say, well, what is it about that you like? Makes me feel good. I really love just, being there for other people. And I said, oh, that's wonderful. And then I ask, well, is it possible that when you can't receive, you're actually taking that experience away from that person? And it then stops them in their tracks. Like it's not even something that they even think about, that it's a possibility. And it gives them pause. What I'm inviting those of you listening today is to actually allow yourself to take a pause. I have had a 6 week pause. And I've done, I've worked a little, I've gone out of the house a little bit, I've overdone it and then had to pull it back. But I've allowed myself to listen to the pause. What does my body need? What does my soul need? What does my brain need? What does my mind need? What do I need? I needed a pause. And I needed to ask for help. And I needed to be able to receive the help without shame, without guilt, but with gratitude. And often that's a hard place to be at. And I feel that that is something that tends to come from a long time ago when we were little itty bitties. But we do have the choice and the chance and the opportunity to shift that. But in order to do that, in order to do that, we have to be willing to be uncomfortable. And often we're not willing to be uncomfortable. We have to sit in the discomfort of the feelings that are showing up for us. And sometimes that isn't fun. Sometimes it's icky. But every time it's worth it. And when you are the person that is always supporting everyone else, it is even more critical that you take care of yourself. You know, the old saying, when the plane's going down, you need to put the oxygen mask on you first before you put it on the person sitting next to you or your children. I actually said that to a woman a few years ago, and she said, that pisses me off. And I said, well, what about it pisses you off? She's like, I should always be putting it on my kids first. And I said, but if you're dead, you actually can't. That's why it's important to take care of yourself. As people that are caretakers, if we are taking care of everyone and not ourselves, we actually don't have the capacity to take care of anyone else. And we are a poor role model for the people around us. Because what you're showing people is two things. One, I don't deserve to be cared for. And two, if you want to care for others, you can't care for yourself. And I don't think that's the message that we want to convey. It's so easy to get addicted to busyness and to doing for others. And you get recognition for it, right? So you get you're so wonderful, thank you so much. But what if you didn't need that outside recognition because you had it within? Would that make it easier to stop having to look external? And I don't think it's a conscious looking external. I truly believe I really believe that it becomes ingrained in us. There's a story somewhere that this is how it's supposed to be. Someone somewhere set an example, your mother, your grandmother, your great grandmother, your great great grand, wherever it started, and it's what we witness. So it's what we do. But what if we can change that? We can actually create boundaries and shift what the children, the people around us see so that we're putting ourselves first. When we take the time to care for self, so much around us shifts. Our story is that if I say no to you, you're not going to like me. You're going to be mad at me. You're going to do all the things. And if you're creating a boundary and that's somebody's response, that is the person you need to be creating the boundaries for. That doesn't mean people won't be disappointed if you stop showing up the way that they are used to you showing up. But if they truly love and care for you, they're going to respect your boundary. You have to be willing to sit in the uncomfortableness of saying no. And I'll share with you one of the first times I said no to somebody. It was probably, gosh, if I had to guess, 10 years ago. And it was my sister's now ex-husband, but husband at the time. And my husband was away for the weekend. And my brother-in-law called or texted me, whatever, and said, hey, can I get a haircut today? For those of you listening and aren't aware, I'm also a hairdresser. And I said, No, not today. Because my husband was away for the day and I had made a plan of just spending the day with myself. I don't even know what I was going to do, but I wasn't going to do anything with other people. It was just going to be a day for me at the house. And I said, no, I can't today, but I can certainly do it next week. And he was like, come on, I really need it. I really need it. Blah, 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 blah. And he went back, this went back and forth a little bit. And I had a choice because I really had no concrete plans. So the older version of me was like, it'll take you 15 minutes. Just say yes. And then it'll be done. Because in my mind at the time, there was no good reason to say no. Because I didn't have plans with somebody else. I was just going to be home, maybe sitting and binging some TV show, whatever it was. But I had a choice to say yes and just be done with it, or to say no and be willing to be uncomfortable with my no, because it felt uncomfortable saying no, especially because I didn't have what I would have deemed a good reason to say no. Not that I wasn't going to be home or I had other plans. I stuck to my guns and I said no because I had to choose me. That was my plan. That was the plan. I did have plans. I had plans to just spend the day with me. And I had to be uncomfortable with it because it was really fucking uncomfortable. I'm not used to saying no, or wasn't used to saying no at the time. But often we say yes just so we don't have to be uncomfortable in the no. A lot of the work that I do with my clients is really sitting in that discomfort, leaning into feeling really uncomfortable in that, because it really is how we get to the other side of it. For me, in that situation, my brother-in-law didn't hate me. He came and got a haircut a few days later, or whenever it was. The world did not come crashing down, right? I needed evidence that everything was going to be okay, and it was. And it made saying no the next time a little bit easier. There are still times it's really hard, and I get to choose in each instance. That doesn't mean I have to say no every time, but it does mean that I get a choice. And when I want to choose me, that's what I need to do. So I'm curious if you're listening, what you do for you. If you're a person that supports everyone else, how do you get support? Do you get support? Do you even know what that looks like? Does that feel foreign to you? And it might. It took me a long time to be able to ask for help. Truly ask for help and get it. And be honest with what I needed. So if that sounds like you, I would invite you to find what it is you need and practice saying no. That might just be some of the support that you need. So today's episode's a little bit shorter because it's just me sharing, but I do have cards that I pulled today. So I always pull 3 cards at the end of every episode. I have a card on the left, I have a card in the middle, and I have a card on the right. So I invite you to just ask if you're not driving and you can take a moment to just maybe close your eyes and tap into your heart space. Put your hands on your chest and take a nice deep breath. And if there's some clarity that you're looking for, a question that you have, just ask the question and decide which card best suits you. And the center card is communication. I communicate from my heart and love surrounds and protects me. So if that was your card, allow yourself to be able to communicate from your heart. And saying no does come from your heart, and you are protected. If you chose the left card, the card was light. My light radiates through my life and the world around me. Are you allowing yourself? Are you allowing your light to radiate into others? Do you allow yourself to show up as your true self? And the card on the right was freedom. Boundless freedom surges through me. There is so much freedom in no. There's so much freedom when you put yourself first. Are you allowing yourself that freedom? Thank you for joining me today on this episode of Effin' Fridays, on my journey and hopefully your journey towards a more enlightened and fulfilling life. I really hope that today's episode has inspired you to embrace your inner wisdom and navigate your path with a renewed sense of purpose. Remember, transformation begins from within. Take a moment each day to connect with your higher self and trust that the universe is guiding you toward your highest good. If you found today's episode valuable, please subscribe, leave a review, and share this podcast with anyone who might benefit from my message. Your support helps me to reach more souls on their spiritual journey. You can stay connected in my community on social media. All my links will be in the show notes. You can visit my website at foreverchangecoaching.com. And if you are looking to get support, go to my website and let's get on a call and see how I can support you, because that is my why, supporting women who support others. Until next time, continue to shine your light and walk in peace and love. I am Francine Tirrell, and this has been Effin' Fridays with Francine.